Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling.
What could possibly make someone who has only just stepped away from a serious health scare ignore every piece of advice, every warning, and quietly appear in a dimly lit theater filled with only a few hundred people, just to watch one person perform? And why are those few hours now being replayed millions of times, dissected frame by frame, as if the world believes it has just witnessed something far more personal than a concert? Last night, what began as a quietly announced mini-concert in Beijing quickly transformed into one of the most talked about moments in recent entertainment memory. The setting was intimate, almost unusually so for a star of this scale. No grand stadium, no overwhelming production, just a carefully curated space designed to feel close, warm, and deeply personal. And yet, what truly captured attention was not just what happened on stage, but who was sitting quietly in the audience. Among a small group of close companions, he appeared, noticeably slimmer, slightly pale, still carrying the visible traces of recent exhaustion, but present, fully present. For many, that alone raised questions. For others, it sparked something deeper, because this was not just any appearance. This was his first time being seen in public after a period that had concerned many, a time when rest and recovery were meant to be the only priorities. And yet, there he was. As the lights dimmed and the music began, the atmosphere shifted almost instantly. The audience, already aware of the rarity of the event, became part of something that felt less like a performance and more like a shared experience. For her entrance onto the stage was met with warmth and excitement, but there was also a subtle sense that something meaningful was about to unfold. From the very beginning, her performance carried an emotional weight that felt different. The early songs were light, uplifting, allowing the audience to settle in, to breathe, to connect. But gradually the tone evolved. The music slowed, the lyrics deepened, and with each transition, it became increasingly clear that this was not just a carefully planned set list, but a journey through vulnerability, gratitude, and something that felt profoundly personal. Observers noted that throughout the performance, her gaze would occasionally drift toward one particular section of the audience. It was subtle, almost easy to miss if you were not paying close attention. But for those who noticed, it added another layer to the unfolding story. And then came the moment that changed everything. Midway through the concert, she introduced a song with a quiet reflection about appreciating the people who stand beside us during difficult times. There was no dramatic speech, no explicit explanation, just a few carefully chosen words that seemed to resonate deeply within the room. As the first notes played, the atmosphere shifted once again, this time into something far more fragile. Her voice, steady at first, began to carry a slight tremor. Not enough to disrupt the performance, but enough to reveal emotion beneath the surface. As the lyrics unfolded, touching on themes of almost losing someone, of fear, of gratitude, the connection between the song and recent events became impossible to ignore. And then, in a moment that has since been replayed countless times, her composure gently broke. Tears became visible, her voice softened, and for a brief second, the boundary between performer and person seemed to disappear entirely. It was no longer just a song. It was a feeling, shared openly without filters. At that exact moment, cameras captured his reaction. Sitting quietly, he appeared deeply moved. His posture shifted slightly, his hand resting over his chest, his expression reflecting a mixture of relief, pride, and something more difficult to define. There was a brief exchange, subtle yet powerful, where he seemed to mouth a few words. The exact phrasing remains open to interpretation, but many believe it carried a simple, reassuring message. Not dramatic, not exaggerated, just sincere. That brief, almost silent interaction has since become the center of discussion, not because of what was explicitly said, but because of what it seemed to represent. A moment of understanding, a shared experience, a connection that did not need explanation. What makes this even more compelling is the context surrounding it. This was not a large-scale commercial concert designed purely for entertainment. Every detail, from the venue choice to the lighting, from the song selection to the pacing, suggested intentionality. It felt curated not just for an audience, but for a purpose. Some believe the concert served as a quiet celebration, a way to mark recovery, to express gratitude, and perhaps to communicate emotions that are often difficult to put into words. Others see it as a rare instance where two public figures allowed themselves a moment of authenticity, even in a setting where privacy is never guaranteed. Interestingly, those who attended described the experience as something they had never quite felt before. Not overwhelming, not chaotic, but deeply moving. There was a sense that everyone present understood they were witnessing something meaningful, even if they could not fully define it. Throughout the rest of the performance, the energy gradually lifted again. Upbeat songs returned, smiles reappeared, and the atmosphere shifted back towards celebration. Yet the emotional imprint of that earlier moment lingered, subtly influencing everything that followed. Even as the final song concluded, a piece about new beginnings and moving forward with hope. And there remained an unspoken understanding that this night was about more than music. After the performance, events unfolded quietly. Movements were discreet, interactions remained out of public view, and despite the intense attention, a level of privacy was carefully maintained. It was a reminder that while certain moments can be shared, others are meant to remain personal. And yet, the impact was undeniable. Online platforms quickly filled with clips, discussions, and interpretations. Viewers analyzed expressions, gestures, timing, searching for meaning within every detail. Some focused on the emotional aspects, others on the narrative, and many simply expressed how the moment made them feel. Because at its core, this was not just about speculation or curiosity, it was about connection. A reminder that even within highly structured environments, genuine emotion can still find a way to surface. That sometimes the most powerful stories are not told through grand declarations, but through small, honest moments that resonate far beyond their original setting. And perhaps that is why this particular event has captured so much attention, not because it provided clear answers, but because it invited people to feel, to reflect, and to interpret in their own way. Moments like these do not come often, and when they do, they tend to stay with us. If you found this story meaningful, or if it made you feel something even for a brief moment, don't forget to stay connected with Update X 24 hours. We bring you the stories behind the headlines, the moments behind the spotlight, and the emotions that often go unnoticed. Thank you for spending your time with us today. If you'd like to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe, share your thoughts, and join us again for the next story that everyone will be talking about.